Hi everybody, Mike here with you guys once again, and let me just see what I'm doing. Oh, good. We're on and I can actually talk and relax in a way. Anyways, it is that time once again. We are on the eve, or at least when I'm filming this, we're on the eve of 9th Gen, which makes today, the day when I'm filming this, which is the Monday before the release of the Series X, the final day that 8th Gen will be current gen. That's right, today is the last day the Xbox One is a current gen machine. Because tomorrow, at least when I'm filming this, because I'm probably going to upload this tonight, so you probably won't see it until the day the console is out. But tomorrow is the release of the Xbox series of consoles, in which the first round, I think there's going to be more letters coming out in the future, but right now it's going to be the S and the X. I think the S is pretty much worthless because it's basically a last-gen console without a disk drive. Whereas, I know it's a lot cheaper, but when your competitor is releasing all the bells and whistles for a cheaper price, it's not as cheap, but cheaper. You know, just spend $100 more and get a PlayStation 4 without a disk drive if you're going to go the cheaper route. Because inferior consoles hold us back. There's no doubt about it. We can't get we're missing the untapped potential of what games could be because we have inferior consoles holding us back. Can you imagine if the Super Nintendo had a weaker version of it that held us back? That would suck. We wouldn't get the amazing games we got on that generation. But anyways, we're going to focus on, not on next gen, but on current, almost last gen, because this video is a retrospect on my experience with the Xbox One. Both iterations. I'm going to be talking about the original box as well as the Xbox One X. Anyways, I had been gaming on the 360 for like about a year or so before 8th Gen started, and once that did, and this was the first generation that I got to experience all the way through, from maybe not launch day, but the launch window, like pretty close to the beginning of that generation. A lot closer to the beginning of a generation than I had in the past, where in previous generations I would get a console towards the end of its life cycle. Not necessarily when the newer consoles were announced, but like about a year or two before they were announced. Like with my Super Nintendo, the N64, and with the PlayStation 3 and the 360. So, but this generation was 8th Gen. It was the first generation that I got to experience from basically beginning to end. The problem, though, was so when these mid-gen upgrade when that idea came out, I wasn't happy about it. I still don't like the idea, because I had hoped that I would get a full generation where my box was at its most powerful and not be held back by a more powerful machine. Not be held back because of the more powerful machine of that. In other words, in order to stay ahead, I didn't want to have to upgrade every a couple of years. I didn't like that idea, but I had to. So as soon as I started to start a generation, basically from the beginning, I had to do a mid-gen upgrade. And that's probably going to be the case from now on. However, I'm not sure if Microsoft is going to do that or not, because they have the S and the X at launch, whereas I think the PlayStation 5 Pro is in the future. Anyways, so yeah, entire generation from beginning to end, and with both consoles, by the way. But we're focusing today. I'm going to do a separate video on the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 4 Pro and the PlayStation VR. But right now, it's Xbox One. And Xbox, of all the major companies, I feel like Xbox didn't really have a sense of identity this generation. Mainly because Phil Spencer spent the entire generation cleaning up Don Matrick's mess. He had to. Xbox was in major trouble. Don Matrick almost killed the brand. The brand is still hurt to this day because of what Don Mattrick did. And Phil Spencer, every year, he would constantly fix the problems that John Mattrick had created. So he'd start off. So there was going to be a DRM machine. They forced you to buy the Kinect at first. No games, no exclusives. I mean, well, they had exclusives at the time, but because it was on a machine that people didn't want, the exclusives didn't sell, even the good ones. And there were more console exclusives. They came to PC, I think, a lot of them. But yeah, as the first thing they got rid of was DRM. Then they eventually got rid of the Kinect, took $100 off. And the thing that sucked about the Kinect being forced in was they charged you $100 more for a weaker product. At least at the time. But again, that was fixed later on with later iterations. Xbox had a couple of exclusives worth mentioning, like Sunset Overdrive. In time exclusives like Rise's, I think it was Rise's Tomb Raider. Yeah, it was Rise's Tomb Raider, because that's the second one. That was exclusive to Xbox for a year. Okay, so, and then the Xbox One X, which I'll get into later, but which fixed the power issue. It really did change the power dynamic. But anyways, my memories of Xbox One were pretty awesome. The Xbox One has been my media go-to device the entire generation. I basically use it to watch my apps on, like my animes, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, stuff like that. But we're here to talk about games because it's still a game console, and I'm going to talk about some of my favorite games that I played on the system. Now, most of these games are on PlayStation and PC, but I played them on the Xbox One, and a lot of it had to do with the fact that when the X came out, the Xbox One became the more powerful machine, if you got that iteration of it. So I'm going to show you some of my favorite games this generation that I played on that platform, and also I played them a lot at the time they came out, even though I don't really play them so much now because I've already got that out of my system. It was a few years ago when they came out, so bear with me on that. We're going to talk about the first game. Now, some of these are cross-gen or last-gen games that got ported over later on. That I actually played them more here. Here's an example of that right here. I got Xbox GTA 5 on the 360 when it launched. However, because this is a better version and it had first-person view and everything, I got it again for the Xbox One. And the cool thing about this game, if you know Robert Englund, who, by the way, his unboxing of the Xbox One, I think it made it around the launch period. That video is still on my channel if you guys want to watch it. But he and I play very different games. We don't like the same type of games at all. Even though both of the games, even though he plays really great games and I play really great games, we play different types of games. However, there is one game that we both obsessed over for quite some time. And it's this one right here, GTA 5. And the reason we both obsessed over it was because this game allows us to play it how we want. Whereas, so I like slow-paced, story-driven, easy experiences, or games like this, relax and explore. I can do that here. Hey, Robert Englund likes fast-paced, challenging experiences that triggers my autism and puts me in a rage. This game has that too. It all depends on what you want to do in it. And I really hope they bring this to VR on console. I don't think Xbox is going to do it, but hopefully on the PlayStation 5 will. But the memories I had, that Robert and I had, playing this game at parties, like whenever Alex would come over and play. You guys remember Alex? Unfortunately, I had to delete his videos because of Kappa, just to be safe, because he was younger back then. But yeah, so many great memories of long game nights of gaming, all-night gaming sessions, or near all-night gaming sessions with the kids. You know, Alex and Evan playing GTA with Robert Englund being like, you know, Robert Englund and being his fun self. Really, really, really enjoyable game, and I'm spending way too much time talking about this because I don't want the video to be too long. Another game that I got into at first was Titanfall. I didn't play it long, but when I first got it, I was excited because when you played Hardpoint at launch, you could camp at a hardpoint and just rack up points, and I would get first place without even needing to get kills. I also got a shotgun kill in the air once. That was pretty sweet too. I don't think I recorded that, but I should have. Let's see, what else did I play on here? A lot when that first came up. Let's see. Yes, got to talk about this. It's probably going to be the last game I talk about here. It's Overwatch. I had all day sessions talking to people on here. And we would like do custom games, or we would have like one tough enemy and a bunch of easy bots on our side, and vice versa, to sort of tweak things, try out different ideas, experiments. Like, what would happen if we did this? And we would just have a blast just hanging out, just shooting bots, and having fun. And Diva, best character. Speaking of which, I want to show you quickly the reason Diva is my go-to character. That's right, Bunny. But screw the bee suit, bees suck. Bunnies are better. So those are some of my games. I have a bunch more. I'm not going to show them all here. But, there is one no, never mind. I don't want to do that. Never mind. Because it's too similar to GTA. It's Watch Dogs, the first game. Anyways, we're going to go to... We had a lot of fun nights hanging out at Rob's house, playing Xbox One. Great times. Those are probably the best memories I've had of that system, was hanging out with Rob playing Xbox One with him. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now, we're going to talk about the mid-gen upgrade and the Xbox One X, which is no longer available. Which I am fine with, but I wish they didn't... I wish they'd sell the X instead of the S, and make the X the Xbox One itself. Just makes more sense, or from a power perspective. Anyways, I really wanted an X. The Xbox One X. My wife at the time had bought me one. You saw my reaction to it, if you guys remember. It might still be there. I know that I had to delete the unboxing of it because Alex did it. He did all the unboxings for like the mid-gen consoles, and unfortunately, because he was a kid at the time and Kappa happened, I didn't want to take any chances, even though my videos are not monetized. But you saw the smile on my face. It was like seeing a little kid getting a console. Those types of videos, I love those types of videos, and I'm practically in one now because of Xbox One X. And basically allowed me to keep going and not fall behind technology-wise. It was a beast. It was way more powerful than the PlayStation 4 Pro. So the Xbox One went from the least powerful to the most powerful in the span of a generation. And it became my lead platform for multiplats that lacked VR or Switch support. Anyways, that's right. That's it. That's my story on my experiences with the Xbox One. Like I said before, I really hope Xbox gains a sort of identity during this generation, because Sony and Nintendo still have identities. And I'm going to get into that more on, because the video is too long, and when I do my PlayStation 4 retrospect. But until then, thank you guys for watching my me go on about the Xbox One. Hopefully you guys can get a Series X. This gen is going to be even tougher to find games and consoles than last gen. And last gen was pretty tough too, to find consoles around launch time. So, anyways, that's all I got to say. Thank you guys for watching, and hopefully I will somehow get my hands on next gen tech. I got the money for it, I just don't have the access to find it because of COVID and everything. So, yeah, bye.